Hi there, kids. Captain America here, Steve Rogers. And I'm here to get down and real with you today. Take it from a guy who's been in the ice for 70 years. I know what's cool. Some people think that being an Avenger is really great. Some people think birthdays are really great. I'll tell you what's great. This, our country having a birthday on July 4th. So I want to read you a little story about some of our founding fathers, and hopefully it'll make you laugh and hopefully it'll make you giggle a little bit. Hold on a second while I get it. Love how that works. This book is John, Paul, George, and Ben by Lane Smith, and it's published by Hyperion Books for Young Readers. And on the front we see a very young George Washington, John Hancock, Paul Revere, Ben Franklin, and then there's a fifth one there. That's Thomas Jefferson. So, let's get started, shall we? Once there were 4 lads, John, Paul, George, and Ben. And make that 5 lads. There was always independent Tom, always off doing his own thing. John was a bold lad. At the start of every school year, the students were asked to write their names on the chalkboard, and every year it was the same story. John, his teacher would say, "You have lovely penmanship. John, your confidence is refreshing. But, John, come on. We don't need to read it from space." That is a big signature. Paul was a noisy lad. Before fun was invented, people joined bell-ringing clubs. As a member of Boston's Old North Church, Paul spent hours practicing in the Belfry Tower. Bong, bong, bong. Over time, that bell ringing took a toll on young Paul, and all day his head was filled with loud bings and bongs. He had to practically scream just to hear himself talk. Now that's fine around the belfry, but not at work. Extra large underwear? Sure, we have some. Let's see. Large, large, extra large. Here they are, great big extra large underwear. Paul was like a bullhorn in a china shop. Your wig? Yes, it's coming. And your polka dot shirts are coming, and the pink breeches are coming. It took many years and a midnight ride for people to finally appreciate his special talent. The redcoats are coming, yells Paul. Everyone except that big underwear lady. She was still mad. George was an honest lad. One day, he took his shiny new hatchet and chopped down the family's cherry tree. When his father discovered the tree, he asked, "Son, do you know who killed this beautiful cherry tree?" "I cannot tell a lie," answered George. "'Twas I who chopped down the cherry tree." "Then run to my arms, dearest boy," cried his father, "for you have paid for it 1,000-fold with your honesty." "Really?" said George. "In that case, when I tell you I've taken out the apple orchard, leveled the barn, and made kindling of your carriage, you're going to be a wealthy, wealthy man." I don't think so. Ben was a clever lad. Not only did he have a saying for every situation, he generously shared them with anyone. Anywhere, anytime. Fish and visitors stink after 3 days. He considered it his duty to provide frequent free advice. The sleeping fox catches no poultry. Those who in quarrels interpose must often wipe a bloody nose. If your head is wax, don't walk in the sun. 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. The townsfolk were so taken by his generosity, they came up with a saying especially for Ben. "Please shut your big yap." I like it, said Ben. Short and to the point. Work a fox or a turkey in there and I think you've got something. Tom. Tom was an independent lad. One day his teacher, Mr. Douglas, asked the class to make birdhouses by gluing macaroni to ye old balsa wood. Tom happily ignored him and used traditional building materials in a neoclassical design. When the class made a palm tree, Tom took one look and said, "Not on your life," and then he quickly left to sketch his own tree. He's good. "Young Thomas," fumed Teacher Douglas, "would you mind explaining to the class why you insist on working so independently?" "Certainly," said Tom. "In fact, I've taken the liberty to list the very reasons." Look at that long list. Then he goes, "Fear not, sir. I've used small words for the benefit of the dullards." Tom learned the power of his words that day. Mr. Douglas told him to pursue all the life, liberty, and happiness he wanted. Independently in the corner. The other students pursued lunch. The rest is history. Say, you want a revolution? Well, John, Paul, George, Ben, and Tom sure did. In April of 1775, they got one. The Redcoats were coming. In fact, King George III's army was marching to Lexington and Concord to arrest John and the other Sons of Liberty. Fortunately, Paul Revere was a noisy man. After his midnight ride, every Minuteman, woman, and child knew who was coming and what they'd be wearing. It was the start of the Revolution. The Americans needed to formally state their separation from the king. Who better than Thomas Jefferson, an independent man, to write the Declaration of Independence? Simply signing such a document was treasonous and dangerous. Ben Franklin, a clever man, said it best. "We must all hang together," he said, "or assuredly we shall all hang separately." One might think twice about signing his name, but not John Hancock. A bold man, he was the first to scribble his autograph, and man, just look at the size of that John Hancock. The war was won thanks to General Washington. Everyone thought he would make a great king for the new United States of America. But George Washington was an honest man. "The last thing we need is another King George," he said. President George, however, has a nice ring to it. Ye old epilogue. George didn't live in the White House like all the other presidents. He was asked to live in New York City, where there aren't so many trees. And that is some of the story of how our country came to be. Hope you enjoyed this story today. And if you ever get your hands on this book, John, Paul, George, and Ben by Lane Smith, check out the back. It'll tell you what parts of the story were made up to be funny and what parts of the story were really true, and some of those are still funny. So I think you'll enjoy this book. Hope that you kids manage to stay safe this 4th of July weekend and have a good time. Wash your hands and let the big people handle the fireworks, okay? Happy birthday, America. This is Captain America. I'll see you all around.